Manatees.
No, it's what is it? I'll
I didn't actually. I haven't seen that since it got actually posted.
It's like it's basically I'm covering my ass.
Yeah, I'm covering my ass.
It's time that I cover my ass. Yes, it is. Welcome.
All right. So we are live right now. Thank you, everyone that will be tuning in. But welcome to the Survivor UConn Ready to Rumble Episode 5 post show. We have a great lineup here tonight. So first of all, let's go around and introduce everyone. We'll go clockwise. Right now, of course, my name is Ryan. As always, I am the host of Season 2 of Survivor UConn.
How's it going tonight, everyone? I'm Ethan. Whoa, I get the big screen.
I know, I figured it out.
Yeah, you're probably sick of my voice, but I'm not going anywhere. I help executive produce at UConn, help film, help make everything what it is, and I'm happy to keep talking about it and bring more people in for it.
Hello, everybody. I'm Zubin. I was on Season 1, where I was voted out 6th. I am currently in my final semester at UConn, so I am looking for a job / grad school / whatever. And so hopefully I'll be back helping out for All-Stars.
Job pipe. All right. No All-Stars talk tonight. No All-Stars talk. But glad to have you here, Zubin. Hope the job hunt's going okay in the midst of the world right now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carson. I competed on Season 1 of Survivor Northwestern, and I am exec producing Season 2 as we speak. I'm also on the job hunt, Zubin. That's senior life for you.
Yes, it is. Jesus.
All right. Glad to have you here, Carson. And Carson will tell us more about Survivor Northwestern at the end of the show, I'm sure. But to start things off tonight, as always, we are going to start a chat with the boot from the last episode. So without further ado, I'd like to bring in Adriana or Adj. Welcome, Adj. Adj, how are you doing tonight? I think you're muted. I can't hear you. Can you guys hear?
Nope.
Okay. I heard you earlier, Adj. I don't know what changed.
You're not muted. That's odd. How exciting. Adj, we'll figure it out. We're gonna get that squared away. Do you want to try leaving the studio and coming back?
Yeah, why don't we try that? And if that doesn't work quick, we'll I guess we'll start chatting on the episode and then we can interview Adj whenever that works. I don't know why it wouldn't work. We just tested.
We just had her. Say la vie. All right, kick it off.
I'm just waiting 1 sec. I figure she'll join right back.
There we go.
Adj, can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
I don't know what happened there. But Adj, how are you doing tonight?
Good. That was a good episode.
Yeah, it definitely was. There's some exciting content, especially at Tribal there, but a fun episode all around. So Adj, great to have you here. Just to start things off, I wanted to just ask you in general, what did you think of the Survivor UConn experience? How was it for you?
I loved it because I've been a fan of Survivor for like years. So being able to do like Survivor UConn was a lot of fun for me. And also I love playing like games like that, like Mafia and stuff like that. So it's kind of similar to that. So it was a great experience. And also I got to meet a lot of like new cool people. So that was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely exciting to have you there, Adj, especially as someone we knew before the game and knew that knew a lot and was invested in Survivor. But obviously, we unfortunately saw your downfall in the last episode. So after seeing that recording now, looking back at the last episode and knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently or that really stuck out to you as probably needed to be changed if you wanted to save yourself?
Yeah. So I gave them the idle clue out of honesty. And obviously that wasn't a good idea. But if I would have done something different, if I knew what was going to happen, I would have talked to Alex because he was the most. If I talked to him, I feel like I could have gotten him to flip flop maybe. Because obviously Kiwan was also about to flip flop if Bijan hadn't talked to him. So I feel like nothing I would have done though would have saved me. Maybe if I was on the other tribe, however, that would have been a different story, I feel like. Bijan's just too
absolutely.
sneaky.
I think this swap at a numbers standpoint looks good for you, but it actually ends up being kind of awkward, especially with the stuff with Carolina and Neil that happened during Neil's vote out.
Yeah.
What do you think you could have played that a little better? The sending the same text message to Neil and Carolina around. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So looking back on that, it probably wasn't the best decision. Probably somebody else should have sent one of them at least. But honestly, I think that if I remember correctly, it was my idea to send texts to them separately. But I feel like somebody like Bijan or Matt could have backed me up and like given their input to me before I like sent those texts. But yeah, not the best move. That was probably the beginning of my downfall.
So I would say you had a really strong start. You had a really good grasp on the dynamics of your initial Vertifoy Blue tribe. What was your starting tribe in that part of the game like for you? Were you feeling good throughout that time? I mean, it seemed like you were actually feeling pretty good right until your vote out, where it was a little bit of a blindside. So was there any point where you were like, maybe this is slipping away a little, or was it feeling good up until the end?
Right. So honestly, I felt right before that tribal council, I literally said to my roommate, I was like, I don't feel good about this. And then my instincts were right. But starting with in the beginning, I felt good because right off the bat, me, Bijan, and Matt had this three-way alliance. And I felt like that was going good. And then I think Maddie and Carolina being so close just like really changed the whole course of that tribe. And Bijan is just playing a really good game because the way that he doesn't show it when you're talking to him. He the way he manipulates people with his mind is insane. So yeah.
So do you think it was a good decision for him to vote you out, or do you think long term, or do you think he was thinking too short term maybe?
Maybe, honestly, if I was in his position and he was in my position, I would not have voted him out because why would you vote out somebody you know you have an alliance with in the future? I would not have voted him out. So I'm not sure why he did it because I would have stuck with him and Matt all the way through, I feel like. And I feel like Carolina and Maddie are more likely to turn on him than me and Matt would have. So it might have been a mistake for him, but also he's really good at Survivor, so we'll see.
Is it echoing a bit for you guys? I don't know if it's echoing through someone else's mic.
A little bit.
Zubin, is that your mic?
Was
okay.
I don't know why he might have voted you out.
I don't hear it.
In this episode that just happened, not the one where you were eliminated, he does say any other season, Adge would probably win, but whatever, I'm here. So he thought very highly of you and saw you as a threat. And obviously that's a big compliment. You don't want to get voted out as early as you did, but being voted out because people think you're going to do really well, at least you didn't go out because no one liked you, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It wasn't that you did something wrong.
thinking about it, before my episode where I got kicked off aired, I was like, do I look like a total asshole like when I get voted out? Because in my mind, I was so pissed when I was talking. I didn't remember if I said something bad about people or not. So I was so scared to see what I said because I didn't remember.
No, I think you looked fine, and I think
Yeah.
yeah. I wanted to ask, do you think you should have pushed to vote Kiwan instead of Alex at all? I know Alex is someone maybe a little less vocally social, and I think that was a big reason you picked him. But as your like target for that round, but Kiwan was someone maybe a little more isolated from the Red Tribe, and then obviously he ends up going in this episode for their second tribal in a row. But did you think about voting Kiwan off at all, or targeting Kiwan instead?
Right. I did, but the reason I went to him personally instead of like going to Alex and say let's vote Kiwan is because he is like a blank slate. He doesn't know anybody. Like he's the only one from the Red Tribe on the new Tarasi tribe. So I just saw him as like an open book. Like he hasn't made any alliances yet, so why not make one with me, you know?
You wish you would distance yourself a little more from Kira, or do you think just her picking you from that idol clue made that relationship evident to everyone either way? Was there anything you could have done about that, you think?
I was not happy when she picked me. So honestly, I think we were doing a good job at like people not realizing we were friends until she picked me. And I think that put a huge target on my back. And Bijan even lied and said I found the idol. So we all saw that, how that went. But yeah, I don't know what I could have done though, because I didn't tell her. I wasn't like looking at her and being like, pick me, pick me. Like I was like looking away from her purposefully. So I don't know. I couldn't have done anything, I think.
Those are my main questions for Aj. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to bring up?
I don't have a question more than I just thought that when you got that idol clue, it just felt like a death sentence. It was from that moment on in the episode that I had that gut feeling that things were going to go bad. It's so tough when it's public like that. And you did what you could to share the clue, but I mean, they'd already made their decision. They just justified it by saying that you sharing the clue means you must have already found it.
Right. And I'm honestly surprised that clue didn't put a target on Kira's back as well. Or at least we haven't seen it yet. But yeah.
Yeah. You go, Zubin.
Yeah, I was gonna say that maybe if it had been done like in some different way, like I guess if Kira had rolled like a 6-sided die or something, it might have worked out better for you. Because at least then if it's like I'm picking randomly, Aj, you're the lucky one. That might have helped you, but maybe not.
I think. Well, yeah, I think I think it's more like once Kira actually picked Aj, it's a tough spot. You either tell it publicly or you keep it yourself, and you like try and find that idol and either play it immediately or just like build some kind of relationships out of it. And obviously you hadn't found it, so it's kind of a tough spot, like until you find it, whether to commit or not. And I mean, honestly, I probably wouldn't have told the tribe the clue, but like I also can't really blame you for doing it. I don't think that's necessarily a bad move in that spot either.
Yeah.
So
I personally did it because they all knew that I had it. So I thought, why not? You know?
Yeah.
And me and Kira went looking for it, I think either the night of or the night after, which probably nighttime is not the best time to be looking through trees and stuff. And obviously Bijan looked during the day and found it easily, so.
Yeah, that probably helps. I think Yeah, I think a lot of people look at night sometimes because they're like, oh, maybe less people are around, or like that's when we get out of a challenge. They want to like look right when they get the clue, but like, yeah, it's the worst time to look.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys
Especially
didn't look for
in
sure.
in a February in stores. It's not
Yeah,
time
it's
to be out at
Yeah.
night anyways.
it's a rough time to be out. But those are my main questions for you. So, before we finish the interview, I just want to thank you, Edge, for
Yes.
first participating in Survivor UConn, but also our logo for this season and future seasons. You did a great job with those.
Thanks.
You know, I attempted the season 1 logo, and it's passable, but you do a much better artistic job with those, and those look awesome. And then yeah, I mean, you're a great artist, so why don't you talk a little about your work right now? Where can we see that?
So I have an Instagram. It's just my last name, Camus.art on Instagram. And then low key, I might be a little TikTok famous. I'm just saying.
I've heard, I've seen them. How many followers do you have now?
18,000. It's not a lot. I'm not.
That's pretty good.
It's not a
I'm
lot,
not
man.
Charlie
That's
D'Amelio.
pretty good. Ooh.
It's a lot
But
for
yeah,
TikTok.
and TikTok is just my name. So
Check
Yeah.
her out, people.
thanks for the shout out.
Absolutely. Thanks for doing that work, of course, and it was great to have you on this season. So, thank you for that. Right. So, we're gonna move into talking about the episode with our crew here. So, let's get things started. So, the episode opens and Bijan's everyone's talking a little bit about the last vote. Bijan's like, I feel bad for voting Edge, and then he contemplates on it, and then he's like, whatever. And that was a great start. But that's why Bijan's great, I think, is because Bijan really he's like emotional and he puts emotions into it, but he also like distances himself and recognizes it's a game. So I feel like he sees both sides of the coin, and I like that opening confession for him. Kiwan's here, and Kiwan feels bad for voting out Adge. Looks like he probably wanted to work with her, but he couldn't align himself in the minority here. You think that's true? You think there wasn't much Kiwan could have done here?
Yeah, no.
There was nothing Kiwan could do. I don't think he had any footing at any point, honestly, while he was on this tribe. He was just hoping someone else's name got thrown out first and trying to bite on it. And unfortunately, Adge's name got thrown out first in that first round.
Last season about this time. What was
that?
It was like last season about this time with myself and CJ. Same thing.
CJ, similar tough.
Was because I was the one to go.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get swapped onto a tribe where you just don't have your old tribe mates on that tribe, and you just need to survive. It is just survival mode. And I think that he was in that mode, even though he was so smiley about it, he was just trying to get back to those people again.
Yeah.
So Bijan, we get a clip of him talking with Alex, and he so now we know Bijan has the idol he found in the last episode, and Bijan's just kind of putting that on Adge. That Adge got voted out with this idol. I think this is a great play, and this is exactly what you want to do, is if you can, make people think the idol is gone, because it's a lot easier to track down if a person in the game doesn't have it than if it is someone out of the game. You guys agree with that?
I totally agree with that. But with all of the fake idols that we've seen in the season so far, I don't know that it would convince me. Obviously, you'd have to know about how many of those existed, but it appears on the outside like there are so many advantages present, when in reality, it's really not that many. So I just think that it's interesting and it's complex to say that an idol went home, because another idol went home this episode.
It's true. There's a lot of directions and a lot of reads you have to make because you don't know what's real and what's fake. Clearly, we've already seen one fake get played. We think that one real one left with Adge. Another fake comes up later in this episode that people think is real. There's a lot of directions with the advantages for 0 real ones ever being used up to now. So it's definitely an exercise in attention to figure out like what is what and where is what.
So Kira here, we get a shot from Kira. She feels bad, obviously, at Adge here being her friend, and she's like, "Oh, I wish I gave Adge my idol," which we obviously know is not a real idol. But do you guys think this was a factor in Adge giving Kiwan her idol? You think she didn't want to make the same mistake twice?
Definitely.
I think this was I think I saw this in the episode and I didn't remember this, and I'm like, I think this move by Kira was definitely a bit of like revisionist, try not to make the same mistakes twice. Obviously, you want to learn from what goes wrong in Survivor, and I think obviously it doesn't work out, but it possibly could have been worse. I think for Kira it is worse because as we see Kira, her fake idol leaves the game without anyone recognizing that's a fake idol. But we'll get to that more later.
Honestly,
but
I was surprised. I was surprised that Kiwan took the idol from Kira after I told him that Kira gave him a fake idol clue. I'm surprised that he trusted her. So.
Well, he had nothing else to do, so.
Yeah, I think at that point though, you just play the idol. I think we'll get.
Yeah.
I was going to get to that, but like, yeah, I mean, you have nothing to lose there.
If you get given an idol, you play it.
Yeah, what favors did he owe them as he was a clear bottom of said tribe of 5 and
they never voted together.
Like his best bet and best service you could do to them was to survive and be another vote. So he should have played the idol. They should have told him to play it no matter what. Like,
yeah, I think my main problem with the Red Moynihan tribe loyalty thus far is that we haven't actually seen like Kira and Kiwan vote with any of them. So like they're just basing it off initial bonds, but your real bonds are the numbers you see at tribal. That's the real proof of where you are in the game. So I think seeing that and seeing Kiwan so manty strong, as he calls it, is the interesting part of his tactics that I don't necessarily agree with.
I have a hard time believing that the Moynihan tribe doesn't have a strong standing post-merge, especially since we know that the merge is coming soon. You're right. You need to prove trust. But it appears that Kiwan and other people, even though they hadn't voted with the Moynihan tribe, were loyal to the Moynihan tribe. We heard him say it several times. And so I have a really hard time not seeing that group of people try to work together post-merge. Will they have the numbers to do it? I don't know. There's a big target on that tribe as well, but they seem to have something going on right now.
Absolutely. So Matt talks about what's that?
Yeah, I think Kira actually did come off a little bit better because if Kiwan had played and confirmed the idol was fake, it might have backfired on Kira because Kira was the one to give the idol, so she might have looked bad.
Well, I think this would have helped Kira, if anything, because Kira, either way, Kiwan goes home. But Kira still thinks, coming out of this vote, that Kira and Kiwan think this idol is real. You see it in Kiwan's last words. And I don't want to go through all of this. We'll get to this at the end. I want to go through the episode order. But yeah, we see in Kiwan's last words, they think it's real. So, but last thing before the challenge, Matt, he still knows, like, him and Bijan, they get along, they're close, and it seems from Bijan that Bijan would agree that they're pretty close, obviously, from their initial alliance of 3. But Matt sees Adge go home, and Matt's like, what the hell? Well, we had this alliance of 3, we had this alliance of 6. Those were like our solid groups. Matt is telling Bijan most things, like most near anything, and then Adge goes home, and Matt doesn't hear anything about it until it's over. And so Bijan obviously lets Matt in on things after. He kind of, from Matt's perspective, he kind of like bullshits a little. He's like, well, there's nothing I could do with the way the numbers are, which is like half true, but not really. But what do you guys think? Should Bijan have talked to Matt a little more ahead of time, or is it kind of what it is?
I feel so bad for Matt because I felt like I had a closer alliance, I guess, with Matt than Bijan because as you saw in like the first episode, I didn't really trust Bijan. But I feel like if Matt and Bijan had talked before I was booted, then maybe Matt could have said something to change that because he could have been like, oh, but what about like our alliance? Like if at like post merge, like we could be like a really powerful like 3-person alliance. So I feel like if they talked, it would have maybe changed something.
And yeah, I think you always hear this idea: communicate, over communicate. You know, at least if Matt knows he can plan for it ahead of time. At worst,
Right. I personally don't see why Bijan didn't clue Matt in. Because he did run with that story of, oh, the numbers were already like this, even though he's the one who made the numbers like that. So it doesn't, I don't know exactly why he didn't tell Matt, because it feels like any olive branch you can extend and any information you can give to someone before it happens to prove you're telling the truth, proves you're telling the truth, and that builds more trust. Even if it's not the outcome they want, Matt didn't want Adge to go. But being able to tell Matt that, I think, solidifies Bijan and Matt more. Because we have Matt hanging out with all these Reds. We don't, and now Kiwan's gone, so the Reds are like, hey, let's gobble up Matt even more. So for me, it would have made sense for Bijan to talk to Matt more. We'll see how it plays out, though.
I think that Bijan is such an interesting person to watch, and he's clearly good at this game, but he's falling into this mistake of voting out people that are loyal to him, and he's going to run out of those people. And that is what I think is going to happen to him. Is there's a lot of people playing this game, and a lot of people that he doesn't know very well. And the people that he is playing with, he's managing well, but he's running out of them because he's not maintaining and protecting them. And I think that's going to bite him.
Yeah. Just a numbers moment. Going into our merge, as is referenced, and we'll talk about later, there's 5 people that are going to be in that merge that Bijan's never been on a tribe with before. Mm-hmm. It never super makes sense to vote out someone who's gonna vote with you. Saying that, I still understand why he voted you out, Adge, and I do genuinely think it was a good move, but yeah, you want connections, especially approaching. They're down to 10. You can't be in tribes much longer at 10, so you want to have people you know.
Part of that issue is just how often he went to tribal council, mm-hmm. and you can't fault him for that because, well, you could, I guess.
One challenge.
He's been. You have to keep betraying people, and you want to solidify alliances at tribal, but you run out of them too.
Absolutely, I think Bijan not telling Matt about it isn't as. I don't think it's that bad, to be honest. Because here's why. If Bijan is willing to tell Matt, I would like to think Matt would let in Adge on that, or at least consider it. And then I think you, Adge, would be much more willing to stir and shake things up, go to Alex, go to Kiwan, go to the girls, even try and change things. I think you're a capable enough player to do that. So I think that ruins things for Bijan if he goes to Matt, even if he's trying to keep that connection in. If he doesn't want that to happen, then he just shouldn't make the move at all. He should just vote out Alex or Kiwan, which is the safer vote. I think by him willing to make this move, he really did kind of the right thing. And I mean, I think Matt still wants to work with them. It's not. I don't think Matt said anything like, "Oh, Bijan's my enemy now because he voted out my ally." Adge. He's still like one of Matt's closer connections that we've seen. So there's pros and cons.
I think a courtesy phone call like an hour before tribal, where you're just like, Matt, like this is how it shook up. Like,
I disagree. Hours, plenty of time. You just let them know right after, to like talk them through it. I don't know how long this conversation they discussed it after it was revealed Edge was voted out, but I don't know. The hours plenty of time to change things, or at least it should be. So let's get into the challenge. So the challenge is a bit of running. Everyone's favorite, my least favorite. Shout to the running challenge of season 1. That's pretty much the worst challenge I've ever had to endure, because I was part of the challenge, basically trying to record me and Ethan. But the twist for this
running everywhere.
That one was brutal. The scavenger hunt that we're referencing took too many hours, and I think my watch said I moved like 13 and a half miles that day, which I didn't want to do any of them.
The problem was that we were running everywhere. Here, you knew where everyone was.
Yeah, I didn't have to move. I stood still. But the twist for this challenge ahead of time, we learned that we don't know what the advantage is, but there's some sort of advantage hidden. I don't think it was detailed in the episode specifically, but like on the green. So like not like on campus. It's on the green, right where the challenge is, the quad. So there's some sort of hidden advantage around there. And you can only look for the advantage if you drop out of the challenge. And the way the challenge works is if you drop out, you have to give your weight to someone else running, so that could make it harder for them to run. And you only have until the challenge ends to look for this advantage. Like if you find it right after, then it's kind of void. But so we get a clip from Robbie here, I think, and Robbie's like, I don't know if this was after the challenge in my notes, but Robbie's like, he doesn't want to throw it because throwing challenges can bite you in the ass. And I'm like, Robbie, you already did that. Why is Robbie holier than why is Robbie so like throwing challenges dangerous now when he has a firm control of the numbers? I don't think anything's changed.
I have something to say about Robbie, because I feel like he's taking the Survivor opportunity as a way to play every Survivor move that has ever been done in his season. So like the fake idols, throwing challenges, like everything. But yeah, that's what I have to say about him.
You're spot on. I think he in his time on this season crams in about 6 seasons worth of work.
People are noticing.
People are noticing, and I don't think that's going to let him make it for the entire season because people are noticing. I don't know why he was like, we can't throw, it's bad. I'm like, you can throw whatever the hell you want. You already did.
Yeah, if it was bad, then why did he throw in the first place? You know, if it's bad, then don't throw the first challenge. Make some bonds and do some things. Just chill. But I feel like he can have it both ways.
The first is that I've competed in this challenge and hurled afterwards. It's brutal, absolutely brutal.
It does depend on the whole time.
The second is, I can't believe Heidi didn't find anything.
I know.
It was like lodged in a crack. So
yeah, so we see it, and you see it briefly, but we see the spot where it is. It's like the crack in a bench, and Heidi does. She's searching the quad. She goes right by it. I'm still shocked that she didn't see it. I don't know how bright it was. I mean, she was looking in the right spots. Obviously, I think I think when you're looking for it, because the challenge is going on, the challenge could end at any second. So you're rushing because you want to make. I think you want to make sure that you at least glanced everywhere that's possible, like as much as you can, because it's more likely you don't even get to the spot where it is than you just miss it. But obviously she did reach that spot, and she runs right past the bench and misses the little rolled up paper, which we won't say what's in there right
we
now.
won't say what it is. I tailed Heidi during her search. There are 4 of those benches on the Union Quad. It was in the 3rd one. She searched thoroughly on the first 2 and then ran to somewhere else. She was like, nope, can't be there. And I don't, it blew my mind. She spent time peeling up tarps and like moving things around. I'm like, it's not buried. We didn't bury this right.
You didn't bury it. You have like 5-10 minutes to do this. 10.
I was
minutes.
absolutely just, it was very hard to contain myself because I was like, someone's going to find an advantage. Someone's going to get an advantage. And she makes it to like 3 feet away from looking at it directly and then runs away. Broke my heart.
Heidi's
Yep.
basically like, yeah.
Heidi was at the second crack of the 3rd one as well. You were right there.
No way it's that one. It was that one.
It was that one.
I'm not shocked that she missed it. It was clear that it was difficult to find. I'm just shocked that she missed it.
Yeah.
Those are 2 different energies.
Yeah.
So I think what's even more shocking here is, first off, I think the Kemba strategy to drop a person was smart, and I think that is why they won this challenge. Was they just chose to drop a person. They took the weight on early. I think 1 bag of weight extra on one person, especially Robbie or Matt, who are pretty in shape guys. I don't think that's that bad. I think if you lose 1 more person, it starts to hurt. So you gotta bank on that being like, you're not going to drop anyone else. You got to make sure that everyone else sticks in. But I think this was a good move and led to them winning the challenge. I don't think it was a good move to let Heidi drop, the person that is in the minority of this tribe. What do you guys think of that? You think that was worth it for the potential win? And the eventual win, obviously.
I would never encourage somebody else to go for an advantage. What?
No.
Even if they were my best friend. You don't suggest it to them when you know that you don't have an opportunity to. So the fact that she's in the minority on this tribe and they're all excited about the idea of her finding an advantage is insane.
It didn't make sense. I don't even have more to add to that. It made no sense.
The only reason I'd say is because I think they were thinking about winning the challenge more than the advantage.
I think there's a bit of both. Obviously, they really want to win the challenge, and they're a competitive tribe. I think a lot of these like former Red members, especially. But I think there was a little bit of this idea, like the Red Moynahans had like this kumbaya, like, oh, we're all close. So then you get to this new tribe, and it's like after Shane's gone, you got like Kira, Matt, and Heidi. And you're like, oh, same sort of kumbaya thing. Oh, we're getting this advantage as a tribe, and obviously that's very short-sighted. I think thinking of this game as a tribe to tribe instead of an individual game throughout.
I'm surprised Matt didn't say anything either, because he's also a little bit of an odd one out on that tribe. So I'm surprised he wasn't like. But I guess he's. Also, I believe Heidi said that she's not the best at running, if I recall. So maybe that's why they were like, oh, maybe we have a better chance at winning. She goes to look for it. And maybe they're like, oh, we're all tight. So if she finds an advantage, it's not that big of a deal because we're all in an alliance.
Yeah, I think from a physical standpoint, it makes sense. Like, slowest runner drops. But like when your slowest runner is the person you want to vote out next, it seems like then I don't know about that.
I would trade losing and making Heidi run that challenge than my tribe not finding that advantage, whatever it was, and
Heidi finding it.
Then Heidi finding it or the other tribe finding it. I don't care. If I'm gonna lose, I know who I'm voting for. It's Heidi, and now I know she doesn't have an advantage because I made her run. Like I'm not letting her lead that challenge for the life of me.
All right, so we have some contestants in the comments here. Alex wants to say, I love how Bijan's reasoning for why our tribe should have won the challenge was Kira was wearing jeans.
They had someone drop, and Kira was in jeans.
I know Kira personally,
Bijan's
and I have to say, she is a very avid gym member.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe she can run in jeans. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Before I was doing everything in a suit, so.
That's true.
You did. You ran into Zubin. You started the trend.
We did
on-
tell you not to, but
on stereotypical attire. Yeah. So with obviously that tribe, the Tarasi tribe, Pink tribe, they lose the challenge. And Bijan talks us through it. Bijan, Alex, a little, and Bijan's pissed because Kiwa and Alex, they did cross country in high school. Maddie and Carolina, they're D1 athletes. They're on the rowing team, which isn't running, but I mean, you gotta be fit. I think, to be fair, I feel like that's more upper body strength than running. Like, you're sitting.
you
I'm
still
sure
gotta
they
have
do
the
it.
cardio for it.
Yes, you are. You
do
are.
a lot of
You
rowing.
ever done the
I don't-
rowing machine, Ryan, in the gym?
That's
a
true, but
workout.
it's not. It's not like, I don't know. Is that like get your breathing up?
Yes.
I guess it does because
Yeah.
it's cardio. I haven't done it. I don't.
No,
do
but
the
I
row.
agree. Their strategy was wrong in general.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of them should have dropped, and I mean, there's obviously something going wrong when, like Bijan said, he was keeping up on other people. When I think part of that definitely, and I think this was a flaw in the challenge, and this is my fault, was the ropes were a little short, so it made it that much more important to stick close together, and it made it that much more your slowest person drags you down. So I think. I think in that sense, that was part of why the other tribe was helped, because 4 people could spread out a little more on the rope and there's more slack in it.
So
but
much
they
of
had
the challenge is mental toughness. Having been in it, it's an endurance challenge. My endurance sucks. Then again, so did most of my castmates. I won't generalize, but it's all about like keeping your head in the game. And when you see that they're gaining on you, what do you do? Do you speed up or do you slow down? Do you have it in you? Because it's a circle, you know. You can see which way the challenge is leaning, and it's a willpower thing.
I'm curious if, like, because we didn't hear the tribes while they were running, so I'm curious if anybody on the Tarasi tribe was like, "Oh, I can't do this anymore. I need to drop out," and then somebody was like, "No, we need to keep going. Like, come on." Which I don't understand if they did say that, why they would say that, or if I don't understand why nobody dropped out while they were losing.
I
Anyway.
think Bijan mentions it quick, but I think it was actually the opposite, where Bijan was like, maybe someone should drop. And then I think it's a tough spot because no one really wants to be the person that drops, because you feel like mentally like, oh, you're the person giving up on your tribe. But I think that's part of being a good team, is recognizing like you will be helping the team by sitting out, like in this type of challenge.
And Bijan was actually saying he wasn't tired.
Yeah, I mean, he's also cocky, so take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, Alex is giving us excuses. No, Alex, I know you weren't like some stud, but and I don't think the challenge was entirely your fault either. You're a decent runner. I think it was a combination of a lot of things, and I think it was more, from what I knew, a communication and teamwork thing than a individual performance.
Yeah, I agree.
But yes, the challenge is over. Matt and Hope just talk a little about Heidi doing the advantage search. They think she might have found someone. Robbie doesn't think she did. Heidi's a little ticked off, and we get from her as the last bit of Kemba stuff. She's like, Barrett didn't even show up to the challenge. So that tribe had to sit out. So I think with our scheduling, Barrett was just tough a lot of nights. So we rolled with that challenge because that tribe had to sit out. It wasn't a big deal. But do you kind of see where Heidi's coming from? That like if they went to tribal, like it's kind of sucks if she's getting voted out over a guy that's not willing to, or that can't come to the challenge. Or do you think that's just kind of how Survivor goes sometimes?
Depends
on one hand, yes. Oh, you go, Zubin.
I was gonna say it depends on why. I mean, because there was one challenge where, because the scavenger hunt, 2 of our guys didn't attend the challenge at all due to their own scheduling conflicts, and we never even considered them. So it just depends on why they were sitting out.
I get the concept of why would you vote me out over somebody that couldn't show up? On the other hand of that, she also didn't compete in the challenge, really. She was looking for the advantage. So
Yeah,
they both didn't compete in the challenge. So I
that's
see
true.
that.
Honestly, I didn't when I was watching, I didn't notice Barrett wasn't there. That might sound bad. Maybe we haven't seen a lot of Barrett yet, or maybe he hasn't had a bunch of confessionals. But like, I feel like he's kind of playing a behind the scenes game, maybe, that we haven't been able to see yet.
Well, yeah, I think that's a good
He's also
observation.
been on.
Barrett's only been to one tribal, and it was a tribal he purposely went to because he threw that challenge. So he hasn't had to do much in this game. For Heidi, who's had her back against the wall for now 3 rounds in a row, I'd be pissed, right? Like 100%. I'm livid at the fact that I think my neck is on the line and someone else isn't even here. It didn't matter. They won the challenge. They needed to sit out, like all of those good points. But I'd be so mad if I thought I was like way more invested than someone and they still made it further. I'd lose my mind. So I get why he's upset.
I think it's absolutely frustrating, but at the same time, it's like that's Survivor.
It's
Barrett
Survivor.
has the numbers. I don't. You can only be
It's
so
Survivor,
mad,
always Survivor.
but I mean, in terms of in the future, if Barrett gets to like a jury vote, that's the sort of thing you lose. You could hurt your jury vote chances and your actual winning of the game down the line if like people are ticked off about small things like that, how you didn't put in your efforts in a challenge, you didn't speak up or make connections. Like those are sort of things that lose you the game. But in the moment, in terms of the strategic connections right now, it just is what it is. But part of the game is surviving, part of the game is socializing and getting those connections for jury votes, obviously. But all right, so we get to the breakdown of Tarasi tribe, pink vote. They're going to tribal again. So Kiwan off the bat is talking about he knows he's in a tough spot again. Second time in a row, he's the sole original red. And Bijan, he's talking about how he knows Robbie. He talks a little about his relationship with Matt, and he says he knows Robbie planted a fake idol because Shane got it, and most of the people in the game have kind of sussed out that was Robbie. But then Matt's talking to him, and Matt's like doesn't seem to like bring that up. He's like, I don't know who had the fake idol, or I don't know who has the idol. And Bijan's kind of like, really? Like, I feel like everyone knows Robbie is the idol. So I think Bijan is recognizing that Matt is maybe buddying up to the Red Tribe members a little more than he was before. Do you think this is smart for Matt to not maybe put all his eggs in the Bijan basket?
Yeah, my pre-merge like spiel is diversify, make friends, have as many connections as you can, because if you make friends, they're not going to want to vote you out. Some of these pre-merge votes come down to less strategy and just who's connected to who. So if people like you, you're going to stick around, and then you can make those strategic moments and your story in the merge. So I am 100% on board with Matt buddying up to all 9 other castaways at this point. Like 100% kiss ass, do what you got to do.
I've already said that I think Moynihan's going to have a strong presence in the merge, so being on their good side can't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex and Bijan are talking a little about Barrett here. They're thinking about where he stands. And they seem to think like Barrett might be someone they could get into their tribe or onto their side, like at the merge. Do you think we haven't seen a ton from Barrett strategically so far in this game, but do you think from what we know about Barrett's spot in this game, it would be smart for him to switch sides from the Reds he knows, or do you think he should really stick with the core he has right now?
I think he should stick with his core.
What is the core? So the core is the 4 Moynihan's
Just
and Matt.
I think it's the 4 Moynihan's and then like Matt like a little attached on the side.
I think
I
he
feel
should
like,
absolutely jump
yeah,
ship. Go ahead, Ed. Sorry.
that's okay. I feel like he should definitely stick with the Reds because if he were to talk to Alex and Bijan and he got caught, that would be the end for him because he's supposedly in an alliance with all the Reds. So if he got caught, he would be done for.
Yeah, but I've always thought that there's this red scare going on because of how the Moynahans were. I think that's part of why Kiwan went this up. Why Kiwan was screwed the second he lost, because they were all ganging up on the Moynahans, and right now it's either 5-5 if Matt's there, if Matt's on the Moynihan side, or 6-4 if he flips.
I think it's not so bad because Matt, like, I don't think anyone right now thinks Matt's like ingrained in the Reds like they are like the Reds together. So he's kind of like a side piece where they're not targeting him. The other side isn't targeting him. So if we do see this with the merge coming up, this battle of these sides, he doesn't really take the hit either way, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it puts Matt in the juiciest position where he has the most options at a merge. But circling back to Barrett, 100% he should be jumping ship. Obviously, we're bird's eye view on this game, but we know that Robbie, Kira, Hope already made that group of 3 within the Reds and then had outside connections that Barrett's not involved with at all, and he doesn't know anything about. He's 100% the 4th in that 4. And when there's only going to be 4 in a merge, fuck that. I'm gone. Like, he should absolutely get out of there.
Would it be smart for him? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think it would be super smart for him. I just don't know if he recognizes that own position.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think that's that bad to be the 4th in a 4 if you're not going to get down to that 4 on this tribe because they're merging and they have maybe Heidi and Matt ahead of them. And, like, you're not necessarily getting down to that 4 and, like, until, like, if, say, like, the merge, like, the red tribe just pagongs everyone. Like, if that happens, then, yeah, obviously you're in a bad spot. But is that really going to happen most of the time? That this one tribe just pagongs everyone. So I don't think being the 4th is that bad if you're willing to recognize it at some point and do something about it.
I think that's fair, especially because if it does end up being 6 rainbow versus 4 red, that's just easier for me to come up with in my head. Multicolored. If you're the 4th on the minority 4, you're not the target right off the bat. So you know that you're not screwed at the merge. So that's a good reason to stick with him. But how many more rounds is it going to take? From my perspective, I think he should be out of there. But
well, there's also the fact, suppose that they manage to flip it and they manage to take it, he does have time to ingratiate himself further. Maybe he could pull something out.
Yes,
the Final Four is still a bit away.
Right, but I don't see any way that we're getting to the Final Four with this basic 6-4. That's too simple. We don't like that game.
This might be chaotic of me to say, but somebody's going to flip, and you want it to be you when that happens. You need to be the first person to make that move. And so if you're even thinking that it's not going to go all the way, you got to put yourself in the position that you can.
It's not necessarily about throwing that like first punch, being the one to necessarily jump ship right away, but being in a position where you can pivot once you see a hand coming so that you can then hit with the counter. So I think he needs to position himself where he has an option to move.
Yeah. I think it's good to pivot and flip. I just think you also got to take into consideration if you're doing it by yourself, you're going to take a lot of heat. It's a lot easier to flip with another person or two to try and make things happen and make the game a little more dynamic in that way, because at least it's like, oh, there is more than one person that have this opinion that this was a game move. I can't just like target 3 people. You can only target one of the 3. But yeah, when it's one person, you got to be careful because you can take a lot of heat from that one flip. If you don't play it correctly, there's obviously ways to do so.
I totally agree with that. I think you got to flip and share blame and apologize better than the person that you shared the blame with.
Absolutely.
That's accurate.
So it looks like a lot of people in this tribe are looking towards voting Kiwan. Kiwan's move is to target Maddie, which I don't think is a bad choice. In theory, work with the three guys, break up the duo. I think that's his best option, best angle here. So, but Kira recognizes that it's a tough spot for Kiwan, and Kira is like, Kiwan, you can have my idol. I'm gonna let you take my idol. I want you to bluff at tribal. She tells him, make them just get the votes off of you, and then they won't vote for you. We'll still have my idol going into the next round. We'll be doing great. What do you guys think of this plan?
Right. So like I was looking at the comments and Heidi said earlier, my favorite is that Kira's idol looked identical to Shane's idol that got thrown in the garbage, and she didn't make that connection. So maybe she just missed it. I don't know, but I feel like she should have caught on to that maybe just a little bit. But there's
To
nothing
be fair.
Yeah.
None of the people at this tribal, including Kira, who had that fake idol, ever saw Shane's fake because they weren't at that tribal. Maybe Kira saw it because she helped plant it with Robbie. I don't remember the exact details of that. None of them had seen Shane's idol.
Tribal council. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, I think I think it's weird that Kira and Robbie, Robbie makes this fake idol that Kira finds, and then the two of them make another fake idol for Shane. And I have both of them at home. I don't have them here at school, but they're basically made out of the same beads and cloth, like oriented a little differently. But I feel like that's like a red flag when you have mostly the same materials. Where did Robbie get these exact duplicates magically? That's very convenient.
Michael's.
This worked out really well for Robbie. The fact that the idol went home and Kira never was the wiser that it was fake. I think it was such a stroke of luck that this went down the way that it did for him.
I had an aneurysm because of that. I will be upfront. I lost my mind over that.
You have to think this is how it should have played out in this stage of the game, in my opinion. First of all, Robbie should never have made the fake idol for Kira in the first place, so she doesn't have it. Then you get to this tribe, and you get to the spot Kiwan is in, and you either make a fake idol now that everyone knows is a fake idol, and you try and get Kiwan to bluff with that, like essentially what he did, but like Kira knows that it's a fake idol. Or I wanted to ask this: maybe give Kiwan your real idol if you think these numbers are gonna be huge at the merge, and you think Kiwan's up shit creek. You'd be like, Kiwan, here's an idol, play it. Like then Maddie goes home, and that maybe helps Robbie. Do you guys think there's any spot where Robbie should have just used his real idol here and give it to Kiwan, or do you think it's better to just keep those for yourself?
Personally, I would never give an idol to somebody else in the game. So I see why Robbie didn't do that. And also, this is Robbie we're talking about. Obviously, he doesn't care about if anybody in his alliance gets booted. He gave Kira, one of his closest alliance members, a fake idol. Like, what does that show you about him? You know?
Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. I wouldn't ever give an idol to someone else. It's my idol. I want it. I found it.
Yeah.
And I just, yes, keeping Kiwan around as a vote is beneficial if you can. But I don't know. Clearly, he hasn't made many inroads on this tribe. And Robbie has every inroad on the Kemba tribe. So I don't know that Kiwan brings you a lot of social capital and assistance in a merge setting. So losing him isn't the end of the world to Robbie. He still has his 4 reds and hopefully Matt and whoever else he can swindle, and he has an idol. So plus Robbie bets on himself for individual challenges. He's clearly knows it is a fit dude and very smart. So I didn't expect him to want to reveal that he has a real idol because no one knows it, or to want to offer it up to anyone. I still think it all went wrong. All the scenarios that we discussed earlier, should have made a fake idol with Kira to then give to Kiwan. Should never have made a fake idol for Kira. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I could go on for hours. But
if he was going to make 2 fake idols, he should have at least gotten separate material so they don't look the same.
yeah, I concur.
Yeah.
All the fake idols we've seen in Survivor UConn have made me giggle. But yeah, I don't know how he got like 6 different get out of jail free cards with this vote and played them all at once.
So we get to tribal council, and Bijan stuck on Kira being in jeans. He brings it up again here. I was like, Bijan, get over it. You lost. And Carolina, we ask her how they think the vote's going to go. She's like, I think it's going to be unanimous. And Kiwan, I asked, like, does anyone think they're in a tough spot here? And Kiwan says, sure. And then he takes out his fake immunity idol, and we get some looks around. I think Carolina especially is looking like, yikes. This dude brought out an idol. And Kiwan brings up, he says, he's talking about for Ben. And then he says, this is Robbie's idol. I'm helping you guys by playing this. I thought this was a smart thing to say, honestly, instead of saying it's Kira's or his idol. I think this. What do you guys think of him putting this on Robbie?
Honestly, I think maybe if he didn't get voted out, that would have put another target on his back, since he's been manatee this whole time, as we see. He's like red, 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 you know? So if it wasn't this tribal, it would have been the next one probably.
Yeah, I think that was his first ever statement that wasn't pro Moynihan, where he's like, this is Robbie's, I'm helping you by getting rid of it. I think he could have tried that earlier to distance himself from the red, but at this point, he that was the best pitch he could make. I think that was the best pitch he could make about it, but it was too little too late.
Maybe you should have been calling your tribe the manatees for the past week plus.
Yeah,
that might have been a good start to distance yourself from the Robbie. But I like the idea. I think in theory it's not bad, and he's trying to protect Kira a little more. And if he's want to put any target on anyone, it's the big obvious target, which seems to be Robbie from that group. And then Kiwan goes up to vote, and then you see while Kiwan is voting, I think this is important in the order that everyone ended up voting in. Usually I just either pick one side and go in order. I randomize it. Night to night, I just kind of do whatever. This night I was like, we're starting the right side and we'll go left. And I think Kiwan goes up, and it's after Bijan and Alex have voted, and Caroline and Maddie haven't. And I think right here it looks like Caroline and Maddie are a little more nervous about this idol than Alex and Bijan are. There, they seem to just like talk them down. They're like, it's fake, which I think was good that they called his bluff accurately, obviously, because Maddie and or Carolina, obviously it's Maddie that gets the vote, are the ones in danger here.
In my head, I would have been saying, okay, why are they so like avid that it's fake? You know, they must know why it's fake. Like, did Robbie tell them it was fake, or does one of them have an idol? You know, that's where my mind would have gone. But
it's interesting because they call his bluff, but it actually doesn't play out like that. He doesn't play it and then goes home. So the situation is different. And for all they know, it could have been real. Some of them might know that it isn't, but not all of them. And so the it's fake argument, we don't ever even see the answer to that.
Yeah, there's several layers to it because Kiwan thinks it's real. That's the best part of it is even though it is fake and they are right, everyone knows everyone thinks it's fake by the end of tribal, except the one guy that needs it, who thinks
As
it's
he rides
real.
away on his scooter.
And he rides
Yeah,
away on a scooter.
rides
with the
away.
wire.
But
Classic.
Kiwan doesn't play it, and Bijan has a bit of a chuckle when he sees a second Kiwan vote because he knows he has them at that point. And I don't know. You think Kiwan, as soon as he got this idol, really should have been like, I'm playing it instead of trying to push this bluff?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
He should have played that idol.
He should have played it. Yeah. If someone gives you an idol and you're up against a wall, play it. Like you don't owe them the favor of returning it. I'm in the game still. That's your favor. I don't know. I think Kiwan took the wrong approach necessarily going to the guys leading up to this. I think his fate was largely sealed before any discussions were had, just once they lost the challenge. But my thoughts are he should have gone to Maddie and Carolina to try and make that group of three rather than the guys, because Maddie and Carolina were not going to break. They're the tightest duo in this game, and everyone knows it. So I
think that's why you go against them, though.
Yeah,
I think it's easier to break up a duo. I mean, I guess, yeah. Obviously, if you latch onto them and it works out, then two is it's an automatic 3 there. But I mean, if Kiwan wanted that, then he should have established that. You got to establish that round 1. We're in the 3rd round of the swap here. This is the 3rd round of the swap. So there have been 3 challenges, 3 tribals where I think it's too late to do that.
Yes, a lot of it is a too little, too late situation. But I just, from my eyes, I think it makes sense to try and ride the tails of that duo and let them be your shields down the road, because everyone knows that they're there. Bijan and Alex Alex doesn't have a ton of connections, so you can sort of spin it onto him like, hey, he's not going to help you at the merge. He's more likely to flip. Bijan's been telling everyone what to do the entire time. You really want that at the merge? He's gonna just tell you what to do. You don't want that. You want to play your own game. So I think he had a case he could have brought to the 2 girls. I think he chose the wrong option, and I think again he chose every option too late.
Kiwan does not use it. He gets voted out. Kiwan forgets his scooter, gets it, and scoots off into the sunset. The end of Kiwan as he scoots away. That's a funny shot of him going away. But that's the end of Kiwan. Unfortunately, our first Red Moynihan tribe member out of the game. And yeah, we're hitting the merge next episode, as we see in the preview. 10 left, making the merge. 6 Kemba, 4 Tarasi here. Talk to me a little, guys. How does this change the game, and how do we see things shaping out a little in this merge episode?
I'll go last because I know the most.
Honestly,
Everything is different.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Everything is different post-merge, but the relationships that you've formed will still be there, and the enemies that you've made will still be there as well. And I really do think that Moynihan is going to have a strong footing this merge. It's going to be a Moynihan versus in this first vote. I think that's pretty clear. Yeah, and so either they get ganged up on, or they assert control and dominance and then fracture themselves later. I'm personally of the mindset that I think that they assert control just because they have their wits about them. The other option is Bijan makes a really strong pull and gets the numbers. But other than that, I think that he's been getting a merge boot at it, and I'm a little bit nervous because I think that he's been playing really well and so entertaining to watch, but he's also clearly the biggest threat to Moynihan and could be in danger in the coming weeks.
Well, it also depends on what Heidi decides to do, because Heidi was at the bottom of Kemba, and Kemba was simply Moynihan 2.0. So she might be like, screw it, I'm going to the other tribe.
Yeah, we definitely see Matt like kind of integrating himself with the Reds a little, but we see less of that with Heidi. So this is definitely a breath of fresh air for Heidi hitting this merge, obviously.
I I said to everyone in here before, I honestly forget. I forget who wins. I forget what happens next episode. Like I just don't know. So honestly, I see a lot of similarities between Bijan and Robbie in that they are the most powerful people in the game right now. And the fact that they are on two separate alliances says a lot. So I feel like it could go either way. It could go Robbie's way or Bijan's way. Everyone else is just kind of taking a back seat right now, I feel like.
I think you guys are getting the right read. I wrote down earlier Bijan versus Moynihan's, crossed out Moynihan's, wrote Robbie, crossed out Robbie, just wrote the world. Bijan versus the world is what the merge is going to look like. And I think he's been the most fun character. I've fangirled over him every live show, and I'll keep doing it until he's gone. I hope he doesn't go next because he's pure entertainment and also great at the game. So love having that in there. But I think that's how that's going to go. The merge, I don't necessarily think it's Kemba versus Tarasi. I think original tribes will play more of a factor so than that, but we'll see how it does eventually split.
About Matt, I feel like Matt and Heidi are both the two that are the most vulnerable to flip-flopping right now. Because I feel like none of them feel safe. For Matt, I feel like by Bijan voting me out shows Matt that maybe, I can't trust Bijan and maybe I can trust Robbie, but also Robbie is also sneaky, so I don't know who to trust right now. And Heidi, the same thing. She was like, she's on her own, the same on both tribes, you know what I mean? So they're going to be the two to watch, I feel like, in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think you guys are right. If we take it just as Tarasi versus Kemba right here, this merge vote is going to come down to what Heidi decides. Because if Heidi decides that she doesn't like this Kemba tribe that threw a challenge and threw a fake idol at her closest ally and has left her on the bottom the whole time, if she flips, it's 5-5. I don't think Matt has enough allegiance to the Moynihans where he's like, I'll go to Rocks. No. So I think if Heidi moves, Matt will move with her by consequence. So I think a lot of power shifts to those two people that we've perceived as being in danger. So it's going to be a very exciting episode.
But we do know they're safe for next episode at least. At least because they're going to be the ones everyone's courting. I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, it's likely that they're not necessarily the targets. True.
Yeah.
So Carson, as our college survivor guest for the week, from what you've seen so far, I want to know your predictions in this game. We're at the merge now. From what you've seen so far, who is your winner pick and why?
This might come out of nowhere a little bit, but I think Alex is in a good spot. He's been getting good screen time. I'm a little bit of an edit hound, even though he hasn't been controlling the vote. I think that he's under the radar. I don't think that he's going to be a target, and I think that he has the savvy to make moves happen late in the game. So my out of left pocket pick is Alex for the win.
Alex, all right. I think
Like
that's our first Alex so far.
Yeah.
I think we've had.
I think it's a great pick because from what we've seen in confessionals, the only final two deal that's really unfolded is Bijan and Alex. Bijan's a bigger target than Alex on every front. I think Alex is in a great position to make things happen.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I personally caught on to Alex. As we saw, I wanted to vote him out. I thought he would be a threat because he is so quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like that's a good choice.
Thank you.
All right. I just want to talk about one more quote I found in the episode. Speaking of threats at the merge, Kiwan in their deliberation before going to tribal council says, if Bijan makes merge, he won't be too big of a threat. And I'm like,
yeah, I saw that.
What?
Sure. Let's just go with it.
I love
what's
Kiwan.
going on?
I adore Kiwan. He lived the floor above me. We'd walk back home from everything, and he's a great dude. But that might have been the coldest take of the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
don't
feel
even
like-
like
You want to just stare at that like, oh.
I feel like this whole
Yeah.
season
Like,
has
done.
been like people saying things that are just so wrong, like or like just like why would they even say that? Like Neil saying I feel lucky.
Well, of course, those are the things that make the cut because you
Yeah.
have to put them in their
Yeah.
place. I'm sure other people are making their calls that they feel lucky and still safe. We just don't
Yeah.
blast it all over.
They're
because
still
we know
in.
that
They'll
they're
get
right.
their due when it comes.
absolutely. I was shocked by that quote because I'm like, you could think the way Bijan's playing that he's like a medium threat, like maybe not the biggest fish to fry right now. But I think Keelan said something along the lines of he's not a threat at all. And I was like, who is then? Like just Robbie, your boy Robbie? Like I don't
No,
know.
Robbie's not a threat. Robbie's his best friend. Like,
True.
Yeah.
So
And a
I
team.
don't know who these threats Keelan is
I don't
seeing
either.
are. I guess Maddie, which is not a bad
Not a bad
choice
pick.
necessarily because
But that might be a physical thing.
she's probably the most physical girl in this cast. So I think in that sense that's not a bad idea. She's obviously because Carolina has an allies ingrained strategically in alliance right now, so it's doing well. And I'd say a threat, yes, but yeah,
I'm so
Bijan
excited
not
to
being it
see.
at all.
I'm so excited to see individual challenges. Those are like my favorite part of Survivor. Cause like, yeah, you have these group challenges, some people sit out, like whatever. But when it's individual challenges, it's all on you, you know? So
Absolutely.
I'm interested to
Well-
see. Also, I'm interested, sorry, Bijan, if you're watching, I'm interested to see how you're going to do in individual challenges because, as you said, you are one of the most athletic people in the game and have been to almost every tribal. So,
Yeah, we'll see if Bijan can redeem himself. But yeah, that's all I have for this episode. Is there anything else anyone wants to say before we do our outros?
I have one Survivor note that always gets me. If your back is against the wall and you think it's over, even if it's not, like even if you survive, use names. Throw some dirt at tribal and throw some dirt beforehand, because if you're just like, oh, I don't know how long you're going to be in for. You have to be direct and purposeful in these games. And when we ask as hosts, hey, who are you worried about? What's going to happen? Throw someone under that bus. Put the pressure on them. Turn the heat up. There's
I don't know
no
if you-
point in me saying, oh, I don't know, and then seeing my ass out the door. Like, no, take them down with you.
I don't know if you guys remember Abby from Actual Survivor,
Abby
but
Maria?
she is one of the biggest.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
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 Yeah,
She is one
no.
of the biggest pot stirrers ever.
Yeah.
And in her first season on Survivor, she nobody thought she would make it as far as she did, but then
Yeah.
she did.
In some ways, it works out. She got
Yeah.
5th and 7th, respectively. I mean, someone who you would think would be like a pre-merger, the way she talks sometimes. But she did well for herself, especially in Cambodia. I was impressed by
I
Abby
was shocked
sometimes.
in Cambodia. Props to
But
her.
because she went to a lot of pre-merge tribals. But yeah, I think stirring the pot is very underrated. I think it doubly frustrates us as hosts because stirring the pot is more
Oh, it's the
entertaining.
best footage.
But
The best footage.
just from a character or from a player perspective, it's underrated to like say some shit at tribal, because really, if you're in a bad spot, you got to recognize you have nothing to lose. And I mean, at the very least, you'll give some people some thoughts. And sometimes it's too little, too late by the time tribal comes. But I mean,
If
there's
it
always
saves
that
you, if it
10,
saves
1 out
you,
of 20, 1 out of
Yeah, no. Even I tried to do that. You never saw this, but I was actually trying to convince Earl to vote with me.
we didn't see it though, Zubin.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
exactly.
talking about. It's
I
just
never,
tribal.
record.
Well,
It's a rare occasion.
Conversation
I
with
got my
Earl.
phone, which is also my camera. And I was trying to tell Earl, yeah, look, you're like 4th in this alliance.
No, but
Yeah,
Ethan,
it was
you're
I
right.
never got to record it
It's a rare
on my
occasion,
phone.
but tribal flips can happen.
Yeah.
I've never been in that position. I either know exactly what's going to happen or get blindsided, and there's no in between. So I don't think I have a lot of perspective on that one.
That's true.
Ryan,
that-
in In the final episode, I want to see some fire making challenge.
That's
in the
always
final
fun.
four.
Yeah,
What happened in the
I'd love
final
to
four?
see it too.
Right? I wouldn't be mad.
I'm always rooting for fire making. I mean, season 1 we had somehow something more chaotic. I'll leave it unspoiled for anyone that wants to watch it. But yeah, fire making is always great. I mean, we wouldn't do fire making necessarily, spoiler, but
Yeah, unfortunately.
it will. It's
We
always
have no
great to see that challenge. And no automatic fire making. Another spoiler, but I don't believe in that. Sorry, we don't believe in that here.
There's no free pass to Final Four. You still have to play the freaking
Yeah.
game.
Well, yeah, let's not. Yeah, well, I won't get too into that. I will rant. But anyways, thank you guys for coming out to this episode. I just want to go around to everyone. If you want to promote anything or talk about anything you haven't so far, please do. So we'll go we'll go counterclockwise. We'll start with Zubin.
Okay, so as I said, I'm Zubin, so I'm probably going. So I'm going to be graduating this semester. So it's probably going to be peace out. But hopefully, maybe I'll make it to actual Survivor. Who knows?
My fingers are very much crossed.
All right.
I hope so, Zubin. I would love to see you on the
Zubin for actual Survivor. All right, Adj, what's going on?
So, if you guys like art, follow my Instagram, follow my TikTok, Andriana Camus. But also, if anybody in college is watching like these episodes and thinking about doing their college Survivor, definitely do it. It's probably the most fun thing that you could do. So just go for it.
Absolutely, college Survivor is a lot of fun. Whether you're part of production or a player, it's a unique college experience for sure. I think that's a great thing about it is it's not your typical club.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, follow Survivor Northwestern. It's at Survivor Northwestern on Instagram and Survivor Northwestern on Facebook. Our season is banging. I don't want to spoil too much, but there is a point where 5 people vote for themselves in a circle. That was a good part. There's some insane strategy that goes down, and it's coming out in September next year. And then we're going to immediately follow it with Survivor Northwestern Season 2, which is currently being filmed and which has been very tense so far. And it's only pre-merge, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. So check us out. And I just had such a great time on the show tonight. Thank you guys for having me.
A pleasure
Thank
to have
you
you
for
here.
coming, Carson. That was awesome.
He's worth watching on season 1. Carson and I played a game over the summer, and he's an absolute gem. But my little bit for tonight is it's election night here in the U.S. I hope everyone felt their moment of civic duty and got their vote out. And regardless of what happens, I haven't been keeping up with results. I've been doing this and just trying to take a moment. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to those around you. And here's to the best for the future, regardless of how long that is, whatever it ends up being. Stay positive. Try and look for the best in humanity. And that's my existential moment for the night. Be kind to everyone.
Absolutely, it's big to stay strong in these tough times and just face it with dignity and hope everyone made their voice heard today. I know I did. I'm sure everyone else here did. But yeah,
I think I've heard that this isn't going to be called for a while. So
yeah, we're gonna.
It's gonna be a hot minute. But I want to say thank you everyone for coming out tonight. Of course, Adj, it was great to have you here, talk to you.
Thanks
and then,
for having me.
Have Carson and Zubin come on. It was very great. Thank you guys for coming when we reached out. But anyways, we will see you guys. It will be 2 weeks to our merge episode. We are going to our editor Cooper. I'm just letting him get another week to prepare some more episodes, and so our backlog stays backlogged enough that we can do weekly. But the way it should work is in 2 weeks. So that is November 17th, we will have episode 6, our merge episode. We will have, I think, a double episode after that. Then a few more episodes, and then there'll be another gap before the finale, but we will speak to that closer to then. But as always, follow us on social media, our website, and all our social media is in the description of this episode's video. I'll put in the description of the live show in a sec after this ends. Fill out the post-episode poll, which I'll post in the description of this episode and the other episode. On social media, we're at Survivor UConn on Instagram, at Survivor UConn on Twitter, at Survivor.UConn on Instagram. Just Survivor UConn, type it in on Facebook. The website is in the Google form description, and I think that's it. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, website, and obviously follow Adge on Instagram. Follow her on Instagram and TikTok.
Follow Survivor Northwestern.
Follow Survivor Northwestern, as Carson has said. Looking forward to that next year. But thank you guys for coming out. Hope everyone has a great night, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you.
Bye.